Namaste everyone and welcome to this session on Nyaya, philosophy of logic and reasoning. So in this section we would be studying about different ways, sources of getting the valid knowledge. That is, we will be studying about what is Pratyaksha, what is Anuman and what is Shabda, and how this knowledge is coming to us by three different ways, their pros and cons, and how the Vedic knowledge concludes. So, whenever we say there are various sources of the valid knowledge, to acquire the knowledge, generally we see that we acquire the knowledge through perception, right? So, perception means Pratyaksha Pramana. Pratyaksha means Pratyaksha, dekhna, khud swayam dekhna, that is called as Pratyaksha. So, seeing is believing is what the motto of the Pratyaksha Pramana is. I will believe when I see. Does God exist? Yeah, I will believe in God when I see God face to face. Now, let us question this whether see is seeing believing. Like you yourself see yourself in the concave or the convex mirror. What will happen with the convex or concave mirror? Your face will be appearing very deformed. Or you see the stick inside the water pot here, the stick appears broken. Is stick broken? Of course, stick is not broken, but the stick appears broken. That means not necessarily seeing is believing. Now, why so? Because there are various challenges of perception, that is, various challenges of Pratyaksha Pramana. Predominantly, there are four challenges, four defects, which they are called as IICC. Okay, what is IICC? I stands for imperfect senses. We are five Gyanendriyas, that is, knowledge acquiring senses, and these senses have their own limitations. Because of the imperfect senses, we get cheating, illusioned. Okay, because of the imperfect senses leads to illusion, getting illusion. Getting illusion leads to we committing mistakes, and we committing mistakes leading to hide the mistake. There is always a chance of cheating propensity. So imperfect senses, to be illusioned, committing mistakes, and cheating propensity. Okay, let us see how the senses are imperfect senses. Like our eyes, you can see our eyes have a particular range in which we can see. Like if you are standing in front of an X-ray machine, the X-rays will pass through you. They will be captured on the film, but you will not see the X-ray passing through you because we are blind to X-rays. We are blind to ultraviolet rays as well. Our perception, our reality, what we can see is only between 400 to 700 millimicron range. Beyond this, we are blind to the light that is there, right? Similarly with our ears, they can hear only from the range of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Like somebody is playing dog's whistle, which is below 20 hertz, maybe all dogs will come running and we may be wondering why suddenly all dogs have come. Dogs could hear that whistle, but we could not. And similarly, if there is a very huge bomb blast, maybe we are deaf to that bomb blast, because if the frequency is beyond 20 kilohertz, we may not even catch those particular sounds. Similarly, the tongue. Okay, the tongue is also, it is the knowledge will come from the context. Like, if we taste the orange after sugar, the orange will taste sour. And the same orange, if we taste after lemon, the same orange will taste very, very sweet. Orange is same, but it will give one taste based on when we are tasting after sugar, another taste if we are tasting after lemon. That means this is also imperfection of the tongue. And similarly, we have imperfection of the senses. Say somebody is sick, you don't directly measure the temperature like that, because based on your hand being warm or cold, it will give a different temperature. That means the senses are imperfect. Somebody may say, yes sir, senses are imperfect, but we have very good instruments. Now instruments are there, but the issue with the instruments is instruments are again manufactured with these senses which are imperfect in themselves. And not only that, the ultimate perceiver of the knowledge through that instrument is the human eye or the human senses, which have their own limitation. So somewhere that also comes in picture. So the first defect is imperfect senses. Imperfect senses goes to getting illusioned. Just like look at this figure. What is the most prominent figure you see in this frame? most prominent figure we see in the frame is the white triangle, but mind you, the white triangle does not exist. There are these three black circles. They are cut in such a way and placed on the white rectangle that it appears there is an illusion of presence of a white triangle which does not exist. Look at this figure. Now, this is the imaginary vision. This is a selective vision. What is selective vision? On the first glance, you will see old man, old woman looking at each other. But if you a little see very closely, you will see, oh, there is a man who is playing on the guitar. There is somebody who is holding the turban. There is a lady who is swinging, and there is a bottle kind of a thing structure, which is like the earring of the old woman. If you still see further deeply, you will see that there is a jar which is kept behind, and maybe this is the design on the jar. But when we see one reality, we are blind to another, at least that moment. Okay, so this is selective vision. So first we had seen it was a imaginary vision. This was the selective vision. Now this is a very, very famous example. We did discuss this in the class, that what do you see here in the frame. Now I have taken this example for many people, and the young students, they see young woman, young girl, they see there. Aged ones, they say, oh, there is old ladies there. But this figure has both young woman and the old lady. Let us see. So here, if you consider this as the eye, this as the nose, this as the chin, the face, side cut of the face, and somebody looking in the lateral direction, that side, and then this is the young woman, and this is the neck. But now just have a different perspective. Take this as the nose. Okay, just focus on the cursor there. This as the nose, and this as the open jaw, and this as the chin, and this as the scarf that lady is wearing, and then it's old woman. And mind you, say two people, they look at this personality. One person may be coming with a beautiful red rose to propose her, and the second fellow may be coming with a stick so that she can cross the road very carefully, because our behaviors are going to flow based on our perceptions, and here perceptions are completely different. Two different realities existing simultaneously, and therefore there is a sense, there is a not understanding of the complete picture. There is always an illusion. Now look at this figure. Concentrate on any of the oval that you can see. What do you see? You see that there is a slight movement of the ovals, right? But mind you, this is a static, stationary figure, and no part of this figure is moving. Only there is an illusion, optical illusion being created that something is moving, right? And then look at the petals. Now you focus on any of the petal, you will realize that some other petals are moving around. Again, the same thing. It's a stationary image. No part of the image is moving. It is just a illusion being created there. Now focus on the black dot in the center. What do you see? When you focus on the black dot, you will see that both the circles, they are rotating counter to each other. But again, if you just look at this is just a stationary image, and there is no rotation. It is just a stationary image. Now you tell me, who is the tallest one here? Okay, because now you already know the answer. These figures are the same. Nobody is taller than anybody. The lines are marked in such a way that the third figure appears taller than the first and second one. Now look at this. What do you see? Yeah, you see either a bridge, or you see the line of the ship which is approaching the port. But at a given point of time, you will see only one of them at a time, right? So this leads to committing mistakes. Now don't feel the mistakes are only in the day-to-day life. No, even there were great grand mistakes, wild mistakes even in the field of science. Like the brain was thought to be as an organ to cool the blood. Sir thanda rakho, that means you keep your head cool so that the blood, which is otherwise very hot, will go here, become cool, and will come down. But the modern understanding of neurons and neural network and the brains is completely different than what science used to think just a couple hundred years back, right? And these committing mistakes is across throughout the science. Okay, this is not only in biology, physics. Let's take to another example of astronomy. So in astronomy, you know that the distance between the two celestial objects, जो अवकाश के दो ग्रह या दो तारे, the distance is measured based on the difference between the brightness, correct? And greater the difference between brightness, and there is a constant which is called as Hubble's constant, and that's how you measure the distance. Now the Hubble's constant is named after great scientist Hubble, after whom this Hubble telescope is also named. And the Hubble's constant was considered as a cosmic yardstick to measure the enormous distances within the universe. Now you will find that Hubble's constant changed multiple times. At least 3 to 4 times the Hubble constant constantly changed, and this is such an important constant, right? Because that's who is going to give you the distance between the two objects. And now scientists call it Hubble variable because it has changed so many times. So this is the tendency of committing mistakes, and committing mistakes sometimes or many times lead to cheating propensity. So cheating propensity means trying to cheat over. One of the classical example is what is called as a pill down man fraud. Of course, now we know this as a pill down man fraud, but in the science, when it originated, it was known as pill down man proof. So it so happened that Darwin proposed a theory where, in a very, very simplistic form of the theory, the apes evolved into men. Okay, that from branches to benches is what the Darwin's theory is. Now the animals on the branches are still there, the monkeys are there, men are there, but the link between them, it was not existing. So they were looking for a structure which looked like man plus animal, man plus monkey. And they said, okay, even if it is not alive, because at the transition maybe these species must have become extinct. So even if some skeleton also will do. And lo and behold, in 1912, in England, Great Britain, at a place named Piltdown, when the scientists were excavating, they came across a structure which was just like man and animal structure. The face, the skull was looking more like the human, and the entire body, the skeleton, was looking like a monkey animal. And they said, yeah, this is it. This is the proof that this is the proof that man has evolved from monkey. 1912 was the time when limitless people, thousands and thousands of people, they became atheists, thinking that, oh, there is no role of God in creation of the life. I mean, because we just evolved, and Darwin's theory, this and that. In 1953, almost 40 years later, this fraud was revealed. When the scientists were reassessing their proofs, they could see that the skull was, the entire skeleton was the human skeleton, but the body of the skeleton itself was filed in such a way it looked like man plus animal. And since then, this is known as a pill down man fraud. And now, of course, the reality is that the Darwin's theory is almost like rejected all across the textbooks, across the universities. But question here is, what about those in 40 years, the million people who became atheistic, believe in this pill down fraud? So this is cheating propensity. So the Pratyaksha Pramana has these 4 defects: imperfect senses, that leads to getting illusioned, that leads to committing mistakes, and that leads to cheating propensity. Then we come to the next way of getting the knowledge, and that is guesswork. Okay, and that's also, guesswork means inference or Anuman Pramana, guessing out. Okay, one of the classic example of the Anuman Pramana is again a Darwin's theory. The typical idea of Anuman Pramana is that you guess out, it may be like this, it may be like that, it might have been like this. And the classic benchmark example of this Anuman Pramana is the Darwin's theory itself. Before we go to Darwin, just imagine, I want to tell you a story where in a village where there were all blind people, first time the elephant entered the village. Now the villagers were very excited to know what is the elephant, how the elephant looks like, and therefore they assigned a committee of 6 wise blind men to go and examine the elephant and come back and tell us the complete description of elephant. They felt maybe only one person may not be enough, we will have 6 people. all of them are blind because it was a village of blind people, and maybe they put together with a great permutation combination, they will come to the as close reality as possible. So all the 6 people went. Somebody was holding the trunk of the elephant and he thought, oh, elephant is like a snake. Somebody was holding the teeth of the elephant and he thought, oh, elephant is like a sharp arrow. Somebody was holding the ear of the elephant and he thought elephant is like the axe. Somebody was scratching the back of the elephant and he thought maybe elephant is like the wall. Somebody was holding the leg of the elephant and he thought that, oh, elephant is like a tree trunk. And somebody was holding the tail of the elephant and he was thinking, oh, elephant is like a rope, or the rope. All the 6 people were very intelligent, 6 people very hardworking, 6 people very honest, and they sat in a conference to decide how the elephant looks like. Somebody said elephant looks like a snake, and second person said no, elephant is like a wall. The third person said no, elephant is like an arrow, and the fourth person said no, elephant is like a tree. And they had a big dispute. The villagers said, okay, if you have a dispute amongst yourself how the elephant looks like, why don't you just combine your observations, your experiences, and come with a unified theory how the elephant looks like. But mind you, elephant is not any of the 6. Elephant is not a snake, arrow, axe, wall, tree, or rope. Neither any combination of these 6 will give any closest description of the elephant. Right. So this is one of the grand limitation of Anuman Pramana, where the reality may be far different than what we are speculating about. And this the same thing happened with Darwin's theory. Darwin's theory, the proof of the Darwin's theory is based on the excavation of the fossils, the record, and there are certain records where the human beings and the monkeys, they coexisted simultaneously millions of years ago. Suddenly you get a skeleton where it's a fully developed human being, right? And then you get remains of some metal bell or something like that, which goes back in, by carbon dating, the age of that is more than 3 million years or 4 million years. Whereas according to Darwin, the humans, they started being human 40,000 years ago. So this entire, from the records of the rocks, one can clearly establish the proof that the humans existed far beyond than the so-called the modern idea of 40,000 years. So this is called as Anuman Pramana. Anuman Pramana means the theory is based on observations. So this is from the origin of species, from where the Darwin's theory is shaped into this book. So there Darwin writes, Charles Darwin, he writes that I am firm believer that without speculation there is no good and original observation. And I have worked 5 years myself on this subject, recorded many photographs. I have put the photographs very nicely on the forward journey of this in his voyage. And in the return journey, when he got the additional photographs of some new species, they were not able to fit any of the sequence. Like we will be seeing some of the species. And this entire record was regarded as out of syllabus by Darwin. So this is the fallacy of Anuman Pramana. Okay, now here is some of the Darwin's theory on how bear evolved into the monstrous whale. Okay, and sometimes you may feel that the descriptions in the Vedas or Puranas, they may be very, very fantastic and very kiddish. But now look at this description, which we have studied as the great science, and which is no less different. That how the bear became the whale, or how the horse became giraffe, and those kind of descriptions. Darwin could not now by the virtue of National Geographic, by the virtue of the Discovery Channel and others, we are coming across so many species which are like mind blowing. There is a fish with a bulb on the nose, or there is the spider, who creates its spider in his web in such a way it smells like the bird dropping, and the many insects come for that, and the spider catches these insects. These are the frogs with dummy eyes on their buttocks, and when the enemy attacks, considering these are the frogs, and frog get the second chance and they camouflage like this. Okay, this is the bird which this is a tiny throated bird, hummingbird, which crosses the Gulf of Mexico using the 6 million wing strokes. Okay, so and the weight of this bird is 2.4 grams. 6 million times he will. And upon the migration, at times the migratory birds, when they give birth to the new baby at the migrated place, the baby will fly back to the original place which it has no experience of. So these amazing things cannot be explained by the virtue of simply Anuman. There has to be something greater than guesswork. Vedas say while these two have some limited application, it is not that they have no application, they do have application. Vedas talk about Pratyaksha, Anuman and Shabda Pramana. Shabda Pramana stands for the verbal testimony. Shabda Pramana is receiving the knowledge from a bona fide, knowledgeable and well-wishing personality. Bona fide, knowledgeable, well-wishing. 3 criteria. It must be bona fide, must be knowledgeable and must be well-wishing personality. So just like when we all being born, now when the child is born, everybody knows who is the mother of the child. The mother is pregnant, the lady is pregnant, when she goes to the hospital, admitted in the ward, the nurse knows, the doctors who are operating, cesarean, normal, everything, they know who is the mother of the child. But only mother knows who is the father of the child. Now, for the child to find out who is my mother is very easy. Everybody says, "Oh, beta, this is your mother. You only have come out through her womb, and she is your mother." But only mother knows who is the father. The child cannot simply go on experimenting like Pratyaksha Pramana, saying that he will take his own DNA sample and try to match with, say, around 4 billion humans, males around, and saying that you are my father, you are my father, are you my father, are you my father, are you my father? No, this is not possible. Neither it is practical. Neither we are going to live that much to do all these many tests, and everybody doing this test. You can just imagine, it is just an impossibility. Neither he can guesswork, maybe this man is my father, or maybe this man is my father, maybe this man is the best way to know for the child who is my father is to ask mother. Mother is bona fide, she is knowledgeable, and only she is knowledgeable, by the way, and she is well-wisher of the child. And she will say, "Beta, this man, is smiling, laughing, lovingly, gesturing on you, is your father." And the child accept that man as a father. And later you can do the guesswork, "Oh, he looks like me and I look like him." Then you can do even experimental work, matching the DNA. But it begins with Shabda. So Shabda means knowledge accepted from bona fide, knowledgeable, well-wishing authority who will not cheat you, right? So this is the verbal testimony. Therefore, Vedas, on a broader scale, they are called as a Veda Mata. Why Veda Mata? Because Veda means knowledge, to know. Vedas are bona fide, and Vedas have the great intention of doing good to people, just like the mother has towards the child. And just like the mother indicates to the father, similarly Vedas indicate to the Supreme Lord as the father. Aham bija pradah pita. The Vedas indicates towards the father, and therefore Vedas, by the virtue of the knowledge, they are called as Veda Mata. So there are many other examples of receiving the knowledge through bona fide authority. In fact, all the knowledge that we receive, learning the knowledge from professor is also receiving the knowledge from authority. Learning laws of motion from Newton is like learning from the authority. Nobody is going to start physics from the scratch. Nobody is going to start chemistry or biology or the technology from the scratch. We build upon the knowledge of one another. This is nothing but the Shabda Pramana, believing in the bona fide authority, the previous work, who are hardworking, who are bona fide, knowledgeable and well-wishing. So this is what is called as Shabda Pramana, right? So in conclusion, we have seen that there are various ways of gaining knowledge: Pratyaksha, Anuman and Shabda. And there are certain applications of Pratyaksha Pramana. At the same time, there are defects in Pratyaksha Pramana. There are applications of Anuman. At the same time, there are limitations in Anuman Pramana. And then there is Shabda Pramana. And especially the philosophical quest, the philosophical enquiry should be addressed with Shabda Pramana. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching this video. Please stay connected. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and also write a genuine comment. What is your learning of this from this thing? We are into a video series of 10 videos we will be putting on the subject of philosophy, and this is a flipped classroom mode where I will be expecting you to going through this entire video from slide 1 to the slide last. Also learn from the video. If you have any question, do write the question, and surely write one comment which I will be capturing also on the Google form, and I will come to know that you have attended this class by the virtue of watching this video and writing that comment there, and also in the Google form. I will talk about this in the upcoming class. So till then, stay connected, subscribe to channel, like the video, put your comment, and also hit that bell icon so that all the videos notification will come to you. Thank you very much.